there, I'm Han.
And I'm Kat, and we're Brews and Reviews. So welcome to day 5 of the Spring to It Videoathon, which we host with
Danny Brookston,
Brooke Clark,
Christina's Journey,
The Story,
and stacks and stacks and stacks. We'll have to apologise for our lack of... I wasn't expecting
me
that.
now! Big liquor.
Okay, so we'll have to apologise for our lack of mugs. We have been book filming. Obviously this is a very long month and there's a lot of videos, so we're just a bit sloshy.
Yeah, you
We've
have
had
to take a
so
break.
many brews.
Yeah, I mean, we love brews,
Yeah.
and we can drink brews all day long, but like, we've just had like 3 brews in a row, and
Yeah,
like,
it's
we're
like-
slightly like, I'd like be sick if I drink another hot drink right
Yeah.
now. So we're on the, you're in your Harry Potter glass, and
Colour
I'm using,
changing glass.
yeah, which changes a bit.
I think like when it's hot, it goes completely white, and then when it has a drink in it, that's when the colours come out. But because
It's always kind of cold here.
yeah,
You could never really tell.
yeah, it fades a little bit, but it is still colourful, so you don't really see a difference. But it does work.
Yeah, and I'm using your Harry Potter cauldron mug,
Yeah.
even though it's got juice in it, but
I mean, they will because we just told you.
oh yeah.
So today's prompt is the books that we have read before BookTube.
Yeah, which I think is quite an interesting prompt, really.
Yeah.
Like, well, we kind of cheated it a little bit, as you'll see with Hannah's books.
Yeah.
Because,
All of them you bought for me,
yeah,
but you got them, I suppose, from BookTube. But it was when I wasn't really
you didn't
on
really
the
watch
BookTube
BookTube
scene. No, I wasn't there yet. I wasn't cool enough. So I technically read them not knowing anything about them or anything like that. So that's where we're coming from. I still read them before BookTube, technically.
Okay, so the first book that we're going to talk about is one that we've actually both read.
Yeah, we both read before BookTube.
Yeah, and that is Blood Red Road by Maura Young. Now, this is kind of a dystopian sort of book about a main character whose brother gets kidnapped, basically. Her twin brother gets kidnapped and she's like, oh, well, I need to go and get him. So she ends up going on this massive journey with her little sister, who she doesn't really like, she doesn't really get on with, and they go through the Dustlands and come across lots of nasty people. But like, there's some really cool aspects about this book. I like it. The series goes downhill from here.
It does, unfortunately, yeah.
I was really saddened by the 3rd book. I didn't appreciate it. But this book, like, there's a lot of badass fighting. Saba, the main character, is really cool. She's not more of an emotional character.
No.
In this book, she's like the hard nails, and she's got a pet crow, and Nero is just the
Oh
coolest.
my god, Nero is awesome.
Nero's like the best. And yeah, I just really enjoyed quite a lot of the things about this book, and I would go back to it. So I would go back to this one, actually. Thinking about it now, I'd read this book again.
I would.
But I wouldn't read the 2nd or 3rd book.
No.
Maybe the 2nd? Not the 3rd, though. I wouldn't reread the
No,
3rd.
I just feel like the 3rd didn't have the same feel or anything to it. I didn't like the storyline. I didn't...
No. But this one...
It's a shame.
This one's worth reading. I enjoyed this book, and I read that before BookTube, so...
So, the 3 books that I'm going to talk about, I literally got all of them on the same Christmas. By Kat.
Oh,
Kat
yeah,
bought
did
them.
you buy... Oh, was it all the same Christmas?
Yeah, it was all the same Christmas.
Oh.
And I literally read them one after the other. I think I read them pretty much all in the month of January, to be fair.
You did.
I'm
I
pretty
remember
sure I
you
did.
were on like a
Yeah.
right mission at the beginning of that year.
So the first one is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Now, obviously, from not being on the BookTube scene, I had no idea about this book. So when I read the back of it, I was like, oh, this doesn't seem like my kind of book. It's a bit sci-fi-y. I was like, will I like it? So I was like, do you know what? I'm going to read it because I trust Kat. I trust her judgment in books. And it did sound pretty cool. So I read it and I was a bit, hesitant at first, but I absolutely loved it. And you know what? I'm kind of glad that I knew nothing about it because I feel like I would have been a bit scared off.
Maybe.
It's probably why I haven't connected as well with Red Rising. Maybe.
Because you knew a lot about it beforehand. Yeah, I see where you come from.
So I'm glad I went into it completely unaware of the storyline because it really got me and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was brilliant. It's a world that I'd kind of love to live in, I think. Imagine having that kind of software.
Oh, well, it might be coming.
Well,
we don't
yeah,
know.
it might be. Yeah. But yeah, it's about, like, it's kind of...
It's snowing outside.
Today's weather has been so weird. It's been snowing, like, I was 5 minutes away in a car. Kat sent me a Snapchat of it snowing, so I sent her a picture back and it wasn't. But then 5 minutes later, it wasn't snowing where Kat was, but it was snowing where I was. So it was like, what?
And now it's snowing again.
Yeah, every 5 minutes it's been changing, and I went on the dog walk and I tried to time it so it was alright. So when I went, it was snowing a little bit and it was a bit windy. But when I actually got on the dog walk, it was alright. It was quite sunny. It was a bit cold, but it was sunny. On the way back, oh my god, it was dreadful. I had to stop walking because Ruby got dead distressed because the snow was in her eyes and she couldn't see. I literally had a scarf here and my hat down here, so all you could see was my eyes. I was walking like this. It was horrendous. I literally turned up at the house and I was just snow. I was a mess. But yeah, the weather's just been crazy. And I know that's a complete tangent, isn't it? But
yeah, we've done that
quite a few times.
This is what you're getting in these videos, guys. Expect random tangents. Ah.
So I don't know quite what I was saying about the book, but basically it's great. It's got 80s feel about it, so if you really like that kind of thing, then this is the book for you. Sci-fi-y, you know, gamery. It's brilliant. It's got, you know, a really good gripping storyline as well.
The next book that I read pre-BookTube was the Maze Runner series by James Dashner.
I also read this pre-BookTube.
Yeah, we both had, yeah. There's a theme going on here.
Yeah.
This one, I don't remember why I picked it up, but I think it was just like when I was in that sort of dystopian sort of phase and I was like, oh, that sounds pretty good. I'll read that. And I think it was pre-movie. It was definitely pre-movie, but I mean, I don't know if the movie was in the works. Were we just sort of like, did we just pick it up randomly?
Do you know, I think we did. I don't think the film was in the works because we read it years ago.
We did, yeah. I remember reading the first one ages ago and then reading the second and third one much later. You
did, because you read it and then you told me about it. I read all of them straight away.
That's
and then it took you 8, yeah.
That is a thing that happens a lot.
And then you went back to them a couple of years later and finished the other 2 off.
Well, how interesting.
I do plan to read these again this year.
Yeah, hence why we have new copies, because we lost our old copies. And that's why they've got like a charity shop sticker on them that we've just not...
Because I saw them, I was like, I need them because I really do want to reread them. Because I can't remember whether I think I liked the first one, but you know, like as the series goes on, I can't remember if I kind of liked it or not.
Plus the third film was really good.
Oh,
the second film was really good, but different from the book. And the third film actually made us like certain characters that we didn't like in the book. So we were like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested in revisiting that one.
Yeah, the film blew me away. I loved it. I thought it was great. Again, tangent. Another book that I read before BookTube was The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. And I really enjoyed this. What I like about Maggie Stiefvater, and from what I've noticed, is that she's really good at creating worlds, you know, and like really interesting, you know, storylines that you don't tend to hear in other books. And this is one of them, and it kind of really sucked me in straight away. Sometimes it's a bit slow going, but I really like the characters, and like I said, the storyline was just really interesting. It's about a character called Blue, and she is kind of from a psychic household, I suppose you can say, and she has abilities, and these abilities kind of make her form a friendship with a group of boys which she normally wouldn't tend to hang out with because they were posh rich boys. And events unfold. They kind of go on a bit of a quest kind of thing to do something. I'm not going to spoil it, but...
And they're like...
Do you know what? What? It's kind of not like it, right? But you know, if you've ever seen the film Without a Paddle, and you know how, as children, they have the quest and then they go on it to find...
Yeah.
Say, treasure, not David Jones.
No.
Pirates of the Caribbean. But you know what I mean, like they go and find the treasure. And this is kind of like this. It's got like a theme in it where there's a storyline about something and these characters go along it to get to the end result. Do you know what I mean?
I get what you mean there.
Not as in like it's not funny and everything like that, but it's
Nobody
just
throws shit down out of a treehouse.
No.
No.
But you know, that's the kind of thing of it.
The last book that I'm going to talk about that I read pre-BookTube is, of course, a book by my favourite author, David Gemmell, and that is Ghost King. Now, I don't really talk about this series, and I don't know why, because I love all of David Gemmell's series, and I don't, for some reason, I get distracted by the Jonai series because I love it so damn much, and like, this series is really good, and I remember really loving it. You have to bear with me, I read it about 12 years ago, so, it's basically like a King Arthur retelling, so it's set in like, alternate reality Britain, because there's sort of fantasy elements. It's like a high fantasy world, and it's got like these Strassi stones that are really quite cool things, and people he plays around with King Arthur myths in a really interesting way that I just kind of really loved, and I remember loving these so much. And it's, if you're kind of into like that sort of King Arthur retelling sort of thing, but in a not necessarily traditional way, this book's probably for you. Be interesting to check him out, because he's a great writer and he knows how to write battles and fantasy worlds really well.
So the last book I have chosen for this one is Angelful by Susan E. And this is the first book in Penguin and the End of Days. And I really liked it. It's about angels and it's a bit apocalyptic. And basically there's this girl and she's with her mum and sister. And her sister gets taken away by the angels. And it's just about her mission to get her back. And in the process she kind of has to team up with a fallen angel who's had his wings ripped out, and you know, it's about their two kind of missions, I suppose, but they need to conquer their mission. They need each other's help. I'm absolutely terrible at describing books. Please just don't go on my judgment of this book. Like, honestly, it's brilliant. I'm terrible. You'll find this in all of these videos that I'm awful at describing books to you, but that's why I normally
if we've read the same one, then it works really well, because I can chip in on the bit where you're like, what's the word?
Yeah.
What's the word? And I'll be like, that's the word.
Yeah. But to be fair, it's a really great series, and I am, again, going to reread this one this year because I feel like it's slipping out of my memory, but I know I really enjoyed it. So
yeah, I want to reread. Well, I want to read it.
Yeah.
So like, I'm quite looking forward to that one. So there you have it. Those are a couple of the books that we read pre-BookTube. I know we kind of cheated with Hannah's because I found them on BookTube, but like,
yeah, but for me they were pre-BookTube,
yeah,
so they work.
That is very true. So please do remember to check out the Videoathon's other hosts because their answers are sure to be very interesting. We can't wait to check them out. And if you decided to film anything for this prompt, then please do leave them in the comments below because we want to see what you've said. We hope you liked this video, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you later.
Bye.